Hi ladies, so in this module we're going to be discussing a little bit about energy so you can understand where our energy demands come from. So we have a term called total daily energy expenditure, our TDEE, and it's a sum of these things below. We have our BMR, our NEAT levels, our TEF, which is thermic effective eating, and our EAT levels, which is exercise activity thermogenesis. So did you know that even if we didn't get out of bed for the day and watch Netflix, we still burn energy? This is because we have metabolic processes, chemical reactions within a cell, going on continuously inside the body that allow life and normal functioning, such as breathing, pumping blood around the body, and all of these sort of things. This means we also require a minimum amount of energy to ensure that our metabolic processes are functioning and well. Some of our daily energy is made up of the below. So some days our energy needs will be higher, and some days it may be lower. Now, this is measured by calories or kilojoules. So kilojoules is actually the common term used in Australia, but I feel like we're more commonly known with calories, even though this is an American term. So how this breaks down is, one, we're going to have a look at what each component has and how much it makes up of the energy we burn each day. So first thing we're going to look at is our basal metabolic rate. So our basal metabolic rate refers to the amount of calories you burn just by being alive. So that's just to keep you functioning, to keep you alive. This is going to be affected by your age, your height, your weight, your muscle mass, and also state of health. Our BMR makes up 70% of total energy for the day. So let's just say we burn 2,000 calories a day. 70% of that is just coming from keeping you alive, going through all those chemical processes, all the energy that's required to keep you alive. 70% of that 2,000 calories is actually just to keep you alive, and that comes from our basal metabolic rate. Then we have our NEAT levels, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is including any activities such as walking, grocery shopping, cleaning, or anything else that has your body moving, excluding planned exercise, so like in the gym or anything. Now, this here makes up 15% of your total energy expenditure. So now we've got 85% of our total energy expenditure already taken. So within this, if we were looking at that 2,000 calories again, this will be close to anywhere around like the 1,600, maybe 1,700 calories, making up 85% of those are just coming from keeping you alive and doing the unplanned activity. We then have a look at TEF, which is a thermic effect of eating. So this is where our body uses energy to digest the food that we consume. Now, this makes up a small amount of what we burn each day, but it's super relevant. Now, this is the energy that we use to chew, to digest, to excrete the leftover stuff that we don't use within our body from our foods that we consume. And this makes up 10% of our total energy expenditure each day. So now we've got 95% of our energy expenditure tied away in things that are just basic things we need for our health, right? So we're looking at that 2,000 calorie a day energy burn again. That's actually pretty much all of it. And it actually only comes to the last 5% of that 2,000 calories or whatever it is you burn a day, which makes up our EAT, which is exercise activity thermogenesis, which is our planned physical activity. So this includes gym, swimming, running, golfing, wakeboarding, all those sort of things. Now, the reason why I wanted to break this down to understand is that often a lot of people believe that exercise is the biggest factor in what happens in terms of energy burn, but it's actually not. It's what you eat, it's the movement you do throughout your day, and also the base of what you're living in. So essentially, what we want to have a look at is that, one, if we want to look at being able to increase the amount of food that we eat, what we can actually do is start to build muscle to help in terms of our basal metabolic rate. So muscle is something that uses a lot of energy. If we have more muscle on our frame, it means that our energy requirements are going to be higher. So we want to build muscle to increase this by eating quality protein, a quality diet, and strength training to stress our body just enough, and also taking time to rest and recover. Over time, as our muscle mass builds, it is a process, but this also increases our energy requirements, which means we then get to eat more to maintain what we have. Also, if we ever need to make any adjustments in terms of our body composition, we can have a look at increasing our NEAT levels. So this makes up 15% of our total daily burn. All you need to do is move a little bit more. Instead of catching the train from the whole stations. Maybe you get up a stop earlier and walk an extra K, right? It can be simple things like that where you can actually start to add into your daily practices, your daily movement that can be simple and small to be able to increase that daily burn by just moving a little bit more. Our thermic effect of eating, something that's really important to note is that protein is the hardest to break down and actually takes the most amount of energy. So if we're eating adequate protein, we're also burning a little bit more energy, which means that within that, we're also increasing the requirements of what we eat. And then, of course, in terms of training does play a factor, and also what we do in terms of rest and recovery. But the most important thing is do what you love and make sure you add in some strength training, which is obviously what we're going to be doing through the balanced health method, because more muscle means more energy requirements, which means more food. And overall, we feel amazing. So it's important to understand these things too, because of course, a lot of people love to decrease their calories super, super low. But if we come back to that equation of like 2,000 calories a day, 70% of that is already like 14 to 1,500 calories. So if we look at that and people are dropping it lower than that, we have not got enough to be able to just function at our best. So it's really important that we honor our BMR, our NEAT levels, our thermic effective eating, and also our exercise, our planned physical activity. And whenever we enter a fat loss phase, we do it in a gradual, sustainable way where we're only decreasing by about 10%. So if you have any questions around this, feel free to reach out, but I hope this helped in terms of understanding energy.